Okay, it is 8:30, so we will come out of recess.
It says 8:40.
Well, that's an old.
Oh.
We'll come out of recess on the Logan County Excise Board special meeting that originally convened on the 20th, and we'll call the meeting back to order. When we went into recess, we went through items 1 and 2, and we're on item 3, which is consideration and possible action on approving the Logan County Health Department budget, and I believe that we talked about what we were actually approving as the millage.
Yeah.
Is there any, first of all, why don't we pass those around?
And the reason we went into recess, I had questions. I was concerned about having not seen this and signing it, and so what I'd like to talk to the board about is planning for next year. I think I was in shock yesterday seeing all these things we were signing, where I thought we were saying, yes, we're receiving these, but no, we were approving them, and just going through that whole discussion. And so I kind of put together some thoughts on what we might be able to look at. I mean, sorry, I should have cut these with the scissors, but I didn't.
You're like, I can tear it.
If you could, but if I could read it and we pass it out. And what I'm proposing is that we consider doing this for next year. You know, that it's too late this year. We want to get this approved and get so that they can start sending out the tax bills and things like that. So I don't want to hold it up. But for next year, I was thinking of some ideas that we might be able to walk through. And I spent time with Troy yesterday. I appreciate all the time with Troy on explaining what these things are, and so that I can have a better understanding. But if I can just kind of read it, and then we can, well, and so you guys can be thinking what I'm thinking. But I said Logan County is doing very well with transparency and open government, especially compared to the federal level. However, our goal is not to be better than someone else. Our goal has got to be that we're the best. And so what can we do to better do it? So to add additional transparency and community support, what I was hoping is that we could commit to evaluating budgets differently next year. That we will continue to do all that's required by the statutes. I'm on number 3 now. However, in addition, I would ask that we post on the county website the budgets and the estimates of needs as a draft, because they haven't been approved. So we post them there, and definitely at the top say, you know, this is a draft, but at least get people to be able to see what we're proposing and thinking we're going into. And let the board and members see these and evaluate them for a week or more. If anyone has any questions, we recommend that they address those board members before meetings if possible, because that would minimize our time here in the meeting and allow citizens to be heard during our meetings before we approve or deny the budgets. This added process would allow any disputes to be addressed at a county level before approval. The citizens can still appeal any budget after it is approved for 15 days, but that's at a state level. And I just feel like we need to keep it local as much as possible. And so I would request that we commit to doing this next year and in the future, rather than just being given a bunch of documents to quickly and hastily approve or deny. And I think, you know, yesterday there was questions at the Logan County on Schedule D in that form, and as it turned out that, you know, that hasn't been used. It's antiquated. It's been gone for 10 years. Well, that means for 10 years nobody's been reading it and asking the question, where is this schedule? Why, you know? And so I feel like this gives us a chance to really look at it. I know a lot of the budget problem has been that we can't move forward until we get, the state gives us things, and that's what the budget's built on, and it's all these. But even if we gave last year's budget, saying, because this year we pretty much approved what was in last year's budget, it was very similar. Even if we used some of last year's budgets in that draft, at least it gets people being able to look at an approximation of where we're going, instead of just dumping it down and saying, this is it, and if you don't like it, you get 15 days to get down to Lincoln and fix it. So I would ask that we consider doing something like that in the future.
My question would be just how this would work logistically, because it sounds to me like when this has to happen is between the approval of the estimate of needs by both the excise board and the county commissioners and this approval of the budget. So during that time period is when you're talking
Yes.
about.
Yes. Because the estimate of needs is just a percentage of last year's budget, if I understand that right.
No.
Okay.
We start the year, July 1, you approve 50% of last year's budget as a temporary appropriation. So that's what we've all
Yeah, that's
been
what I was
working on
thinking of.
since
Okay.
July 1.
Okay.
And then we come in with the estimate of needs and the officers' reports. That is what we're requesting for the budget for this year. You originally
Okay.
received those individual ones in June when we meet with each officer and they explain what they're asking and why in those individual things. When we came back in, a couple meetings back, it was to look at them formally as opposed to the money available. Now, this year there was money available, it wasn't an issue of making cuts. Normally, it's
Yeah.
to cut. And firm up how much each department's gonna receive in their budget as a total versus the money allowed. So I guess that kind of goes back to what I was wondering. Are you really just looking at what the estimate needs? And I showed you yesterday, and I'll pass this back out. This is the publication, so it really kind of is that summary of
Yeah.
what we are. Is this really kind of what you would like on the website?
Well, no.
He wants the whole
see,
budget, right?
That's the thing. This is what's published, and it's 3 pages, and it's a summary. It's given four items for each department. Okay, and so I don't. In openness and transparency, that's not really addressing it, because what we've been asked to do is approve those. Now it sounds like we're approving just the millage that supports those. But I just feel like that's an awful lot of, if the 3 of us are to be a check and balance for the county, to ask us to approve that when that's
Okay.
just been handed to
These
us.
for the schools and for the EMS is, you're certifying the millage,
Yeah,
is what you're doing on these. You're certifying the millage.
yes,
The county you're certifying the millage for the county as well, because you've already approved the numbers
Right.
for distribution. So are you wanting all of these on the website as well?
well, I don't see why there's a hesitancy to do that. I think, yeah, it doesn't hurt. I mean, it doesn't, why, I think it's good for the people to be able to.
No, I'm
look
just
at
trying
it.
to figure out how
I
to
doubt
make it
anybody, I
happen.
don't think it's gonna be a popular website where everybody goes, oh boy, let me look at.
No,
the
I
budget."
understand that. I'm
It
just
gives
trying,
a-
I mean, these come from all over different budget makers and such, and I'm just trying to figure out what steps I'm gonna have to lay out to make that
Yeah,
happen.
and that's the thing, is I don't want to create more work for you, but I do want to be able to say, yeah, this has been checked, and for us to just come in and sign it isn't a check, and this would give us the ability as board members to look at it, but I don't see why, if we post that, because I don't want you having to print all that, I don't want that getting thumped on my front door and saying, read it. But on the internet, we'd be able to read it, and so that's why even, I don't understand why, and I know you're saying we're approving the levies, but definitely in here, on our agenda, it doesn't say that. It says we're approving the budgets, and so.
And I know it does, and that's been a verbiage that has been used from year to year. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I'm just saying that, I mean, I
Okay, so
can
that's
show
why
you,
I wanna-
that's the way it's been written. I've picked up what was done before me,
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and that's why I put together this half-page
and I'll be glad to
proposal
change the agenda item.
of just to have us really evaluate what we're doing, how we're doing it, why we're doing it, because a lot of it is, like you say, this is just what we do, that's the verbiage, so we use the verbiage, but the verbiage isn't, as we discover it's not correct, that we should be approving millages, then we ought to make those changes just as we go along, not to create work, and I'm sorry for that, Troy, because I know.
No,
it is
I'm
more work,
not
but
worried
it's-
about the work, I'm just trying to figure out exactly what's being
Yeah.
requested, so I can figure out how to make it happen.
Yeah, I just think it'd be helpful to have those in a draft form, and even if it's the previous year, saying there are going to be changes to it, this is what we did last year, just so people have an opportunity to look at it. But as board members, it would help for me, because I hate going into your office and taking your time as I walk through those, and so I just think having them on
And just for
Yeah.
clarification, I sent out yesterday what Jerry had forwarded, which is the actual
Yes,
worksheet from the auditors. And I'm assuming all of these different people use the same
Yeah.
type thing that the auditor has prescribed for their specific budget, except for the town of Marshall. Actually, the EMS districts do theirs by hand too. So I have
Okay.
3 that are actually done by hand. And they're
We're
done
smiling
in-
because they're actually literally done by
They're
the
done
ledgers
in-
or handwritten.
They're done in-house by hand, so I don't have that kind of sheet available for
Right.
those 3 entities. But I guess what I'm asking is that really what
Yes,
you're wanting
that's-
available on the website?
That's what I would really appreciate. I
You
think
want
that'd be
all that
something.
stuff on the website?
Yes, yeah. And that's, there's 3 copies of each there, but, yeah, I think it would be helpful. And that-
I'll send a
that way
request to
people-
each of these budget makers and ask them to forward me the sheet. Again, I've got 3
Mhm.
that doesn't have that.
Right.
And
Well,
I
those
can
would-
make copies
Yeah,
or
you just, well, you
something.
just scan it with a scan version instead of a working version would work. It's just, it's being able to look at it and make a rational decision of, has this been evaluated or not, and so. So what I would like to do is propose that we walk through and we can change this, but this was just something that I put together kind of as an overview of, I think we need to have something so that we can be better prepared to say, yes, this is what we're going to do. And even on if we go down to the minimal amount on the millages that were approving, just to have seen those millages, before the meeting to be able to say, yeah, this is how it is. I just didn't feel very well prepared to sign it, and I'd like to be better prepared next year.
Can we put this on the agenda for the next meeting to discuss our budget process next year generally? Because just
Be good.
give us all a chance to think about this. And I don't have an issue with any of this. I think everybody wants transparency. Everybody wants everybody to be informed. What I want to make sure we don't do is, and maybe I'm the wrong person to be bringing this up, because I have 0 political aspirations. Politics really bothers me. And I hate it when we do things, and I'm not saying this is at all, Dan, but I hate it when I see in these boards, we do things for show, when we're not talking about what good actually comes out of it. Because for this example, we want to make sure that by putting all that on there, we put so much on there that nobody's going to read it. And the other thing is, the part that we understand best is the actual numbers that each is using. There's no harm in putting that on there. I'm not against it. If we can, I see Marvin back there rolling his eyes, but what I want to make sure is that people can actually get the job done. We can go on and on for months at this, and then we don't get our budget approved. And I want to make sure that we provide all the transparency we can, but make it where people can actually use it. And I'm fine if we can do it. I say put it all on the website. That's fine. But I also want a summary somewhere where they can actually make sense of it, because you know how hard it is to read that thing.
Yeah. Oh, it's puts you to sleep for sure. But yeah, the summary is already, it's posted, it's in the newspaper. That's out there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there is the summary, but the summary isn't what we're doing the checks and balances on.
Right.
That's
right.
not what we're to do. And so that's why I feel like more information is needed to really evaluate this. And I'm concerned about the evaluations, because as we saw, that form yesterday, that antiquated column that was in it, that's
Which
not
is state mandated.
Yeah, that's not Logan County's form. That is, all 77 counties use that. Everybody in the state uses that. And no one has noticed the fact that, it says that it's explained
It
in
says there's a
Schedule
Schedule
D.
4 to this exhibit, but there's not a Schedule 4.
And there is not.
Yeah.
And nobody, until Marvin asked yesterday, that's not been noticed. That's troublesome. That means that we as a state, all the counties, are not evaluating these things. And that's where I feel like we need to do it. And I want to do it at a local level. I don't want to have somebody, if they're disappointed with a decision that's been made, have to go down to the state capitol to talk to somebody there that doesn't have a clue about it. I'd rather have them be able to come in here and talk to Troy, talk to the commissioners, or to us and say,
Yeah.
why is this, how come that much money is going to this instead of over here?
I think we need to think about that and in the next meeting. Let's have this on the agenda. And my goal is to make sure that we provide the most information that is truly going to inform the public. And if it's in addition to that, I want to make sure that the actual estimated needs numbers are somewhere put separately where they can also see that and interpret it. Because the average person is not going to just read through this.
Not at all, absolutely.
And make heads or, our own boards here had a hard time making sense of it.
Yeah. No, and I totally agree the average person's not going to do it. And I would say, Chairman, we as the excise board are not doing it because we didn't spend any time looking in those things.
Yeah.
And yet we're asked to approve it. And
Well,
so
what we're doing, and I think, and this is, correct me if I'm wrong, Troy, but we approve the estimate of needs, and we're relying on somebody we hire to put it in the right format.
For the county budget, yes. And
Yeah,
as
for the
far as
county
these
budget. I know
others,
that.
you're relying on what their budget maker and their boards. These over here have already been through the board process and the public hearing through those boards and that sort of thing to determine that they're accurate. I will tell you, I spoke to Nancy Grantham at SANI yesterday. She handles the budgets. She reiterated for me, because I called to ask about Schedule 4. I was trying to locate an answer. And we were discussing your question on approving these. That was what she said back to me, was this board is relying on the fact that the accountants or the budget makers, whatever title, and the boards of these entities have done their due diligence on this to ask you to certify the millage.
Okay. All right, then if I could make a motion that we, in our next meeting, discuss
Okay.
the possible names.
You don't really need a motion for that.
It's not an agenda item
So we don't
So
for
have to
action.
we'll put it on the agenda
For next.
meeting.
Okay.
We'll go through this and it
Okay.
won't be skipped.
And, okay, how do we submit, because I love your ideas on that, Kenny, but I'd love to see them before the meeting, so how do we do that and still have open meeting policy? Is that, could we submit our ideas to you, and then when you send out the notice, we could share that, like I put together some thoughts on writing, because otherwise we come to the meeting and hit one another cold with ideas, and then it's a
But
different
unfortunately,
process.
that's the board process.
Okay, so it
It's
just
just
takes
to have
time.
this discussion. I mean, if somebody wants to send something to me and I can try to do that, but I can't be used for you guys to circumvent the law either.
Well, I would have no intention.
And I know that wasn't your
That's what
intention, but this is what I'm
My question
saying.
was, is how do we do that? How do we
Yeah.
get ideas and share ideas and not have to make a
I don't think
split-second
this is
decision? 'Cause
gonna,
this
I
is-
don't think that, especially starting a year ahead, that you're looking at a split-second decision. I think you come in, you start tossing it around, it may take a meeting or two of discussions
Okay.
type thing. I don't know that the agenda item can be two ways. It can be just an open discussion with no action available, so that you can exchange your thoughts and discuss the business in the public format. We can make it as an actionable item. If you make it an actionable item, you can table it to address later. I mean, there's
Okay.
different avenues available in there.
Yeah, if we make it actionable, that'd be great. So on the next agenda, that'd be great.
Okay, we will look at it on the agenda for next meeting. We're on item 3, consideration and possible action on approving the Logan County Health Department millage, correct?
Yeah, I would move that we approve the millage for the Logan County Health Department.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the fiscal year 2015-2016 millage for the Logan County Health Department. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
All opposed? Passes. Okay. You want us to go ahead and be signing as we go here, right?
You can do that, or you can wait and sign them all at the end, however you want to choose to do it.
I'd say we do it as we go here. So everybody's got one copy of your county health budget. It's
Okay.
on back there on that tab.
Okay.
We're gonna have to
And
pass them around.
so, Kenny, you're doing chairman. Where's Marilyn going to sign?
Looks like they don't have a vice chairman in place, so either of
Marilyn,
the
if you-
left hand.
Yeah, Marilyn, if you'll sign the top
On
left.
the, okay.
You can just set them there, I'll get them.
Okay, next item is number 4, consideration and possible action.
Well, I don't think I've signed all 3 yet.
Oh, I thought you did.
Maybe I did. Maybe I did. I thought I put my name down twice.
No, you did.
I didn't think I did.
Right.
Okay. Thought I was awake.
Well done. That would have
Good
been
job.
terrible to have
Good
another
catch.
meeting.
Yeah, one more. Okay, next item is consideration and possible action on approving the fiscal year 2015-2016 Logan County budget.
Okay, we discussed this work. Crescent has announced they're closing on Monday, but according to the meeting last night, it sounds like the city, Guthrie's going to take that over.
No, this is the Logan County, but the county budget, number 4. not
I'm
the
sorry,
ends.
I was just moving us along. Yes, sorry.
Which
Yeah,
you
I would
already
move-
have.
I would move that we approve the Logan County budget, including the error that there is no Schedule D.
Which one is that?
That's it.
This is
Yeah.
it.
There's actually, we
Back at the right
got,
tab.
all of these are the same copy.
Okay.
Is there a second, Marilyn?
I'll second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? It passes. Now, do we sign all, what do we got, 6, 5?
If you would, please.
Oh, there's 6 copies now.
Oh.
Okay. Keep track for us, Marilyn, you did good
Yeah,
on
you
the
just-
last one.
I've signed one.
You sign and pass this way, and we'll circle you back
Back in the
around.
But there's 6 of them? You said?
So, I'm sorry.
Is this it?
Oh, that one's done. Nope, here we go. These have been signed.
Okay, that I haven't signed.
Okay.
Is this it? Is,
That's for the county. What is this?
That's it.
that's it? Okay.
Well, that's not our signature. out there.
Monty, you missed signing this one.
I was wanting to have another meeting.
Sheriff duties are getting away.
I'm sleeping that shit right now.
I believe, we gotta send that one back to Monty too.
You're slacking today. Found another one.
Yeah.
Conserving ink.
Oh, haven't get it going outside.
Well, actually, Mike missed one.
No. No, it's starting to make more sense.
Good thing you guys hung out for this.
That's
fun
my
meeting.
fault.
Should I double check these up here then?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're missing signatures here.
Well, we're still piling them up.
Well, we
Alright,
got
let me know
2
when
should
you're
be.
There's just
Marvin didn't
Marvin
sign
didn't sign,
either.
okay.
These are,
Um, So you got the health ones there as well.
Okay,
Yeah, that's 4.
next item.
There should
I've
be
got-
2
She's got a
more.
couple for him to sign, is that correct?
And we've
got
already
2.
signed those,
Yeah.
Let's try it.
Okay, next item, consideration and possible action on approving the millage are we approving millage or budgets on this? Millage.
Technically, it's the millage.
For Guthrie EMS 1 and 2, EMS 1 and Crescent EMS 1 and 2.
And I'd move that we approve the millage for those with the note that Crescent's budget is in there, but it appears that Guthrie is taking that over from their meeting last night, so. I was concerned approving that since they announced they were shutting down Monday.
They're technically not gonna be shut down from what I understand. And what I've been able to gather, this will all stay, Guthrie EMS I1 contracts with the city of Guthrie to provide that service. And they use this millage to pay for that. The same, I believe, is what's being worked towards for Crescent. So Crescent will still collect their millage to pay the city of Guthrie to provide the service,
Okay.
is
So,
what
yeah.
they're working toward.
So with that, I'm able to make that motion that we approve the millage.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the millage for Guthrie EMS and Crescent EMS. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes.
Are you filling this in up above? David's one?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, we still have,
Oh,
those were
that was good.
Guthrie I1, this is Crescent I2.
Do we ever have a motion on this before we sign?
It's
Well,
the same
that
motion.
motion
Oh,
covered both of them.
That's what I asked.
That's a good job. Do you have a question?
Well, no, it's not saying, it's not saying the millage on here. It says it at the top, it says 3.0, but all the other places it's left blank, but I guess that's okay. The important thing is that we're doing 3 mills, so usually it did say
Is it
here.
this handwritten thing
Yeah, but it doesn't have any mills out here.
here? I think this is,
See, and this one doesn't have any millage written down at all.
where are you talking about? Out here?
We're here, 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 or here.
I think this is there's an arrow to go over here.
Okay, so they're,
That's
okay.
what they're writing there.
In Logan and Kingfisher, it's different. Okay. All right, so on this one where we're saying the mill rate is 3, but it didn't
It's
break
not
down
written
how that
down down
goes.
there.
so- And I think that usually it goes here as well, but. I mean, we're approving the mill rate, and it is 3 and 3.08 and 3.11, so.
In these deals where it'll say not to exceed like 3, and then it'll say, like in this instance, 3.08. How
The
does that work?
difference is the 3 mills is what was set. When personal property taxes were eliminated in 97 or 98, whenever back then it was, the elimination of having to report personal property did not eliminate the income and the revenue that was necessary. So the additional millage was picked up, and it's all the entities picked up to offset what they lost technically under personal property.
Okay, next item, consideration and possible action on the fiscal year 2015 and 16 school budgets for Guthrie, Coyle, Crescent, and Mulhall.
That's reading right here.
I would move that we approve the 4 school districts' millage rates.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve millage for Guthrie, Coyle, Crescent, and Mulhall Orlando schools. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes.
These are Coyle.
Mr. Chairman, can I interject something? Just the process, just as a budget maker, just to hopefully add a little bit of comfort to what you're doing here today, that it's not only Nancy Grantham at the State Auditor's Office that checks all these valuations and all these levies and makes sure that, you know, they're gonna start the protest period. The public service companies hire auditors to review these budgets, and about the only levy that changes is a sinking fund. If a school district or city or town votes a new bond issue, and then these public service companies, they require copies of the budgets as we're preparing them. They review those sinking fund levies too, so want you to feel some comfort that these things have been reviewed by a lot of people as you're receiving them too, and they won't be finalized until Nancy Grantham signs off on it at the State Auditor Evaluation Board too. And she calls us if there's any problem, you know, if the valuation has changed. Some counties will recertify their values, and that affects other counties. You know, if you have a VOTEC district that has joint values in different counties, and budgets have to be redone and all that, but that'll come back to you if there's any problem on these that when it gets to State Equalization Board. But the public service companies do a really good job too. We're set up now where we just send them a copy of the sinking fund information as we're preparing it, and they review it, and if they have any problems that they don't really want to do protests and lawsuits on these budgets. They want to try to get them finalized before they hit the Capitol. So.
Thank you for that.
In Mulhall.
Mulhall's the difficult one. 4 millage rates, right?
4 counties.
It's difficult.
Well, Jared, we appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. We should, and next year, we'll try to make sure we line you up for the first meeting. Maybe we'll avoid 2 meetings, because I think you usually answer questions, and we appreciate you being here.
Had some good questions, and you know, like, yeah, maybe moving forward, we can do some things over the phone or anything, and, you know, I don't wanna raise my fee and estimate that I'm gonna have to be at
Right.
more
Budget
meetings and
meetings,
things.
right.
I'd like to just quote a flat fee to do the budget and, yeah, I think going forward, maybe we can do some things differently, but yeah, we appreciate all your help in getting it done.
Yeah, I agree.
Final action item is consideration and possible action on approving the budget for the town of Marshall. I guess it'd be the millage.
This is my favorite out of all these, so I'm excited to propose that we approve the millage for the town of Marshall.
Well, and let me
Because it is
explain.
zero.
Let me explain, as I explained it to Dan. The cities used to be required to file their budgets with us in the clerk's office. However, there was some legislative changes many years ago that allowed them to file a budget under the Municipal Act, and they don't have to come through the county anymore. However, the town of Marshall has never elected that option. They are another one that is completely hand-filled in. They have a very small, and as a town, they have no millage, as they have no bond issue. So that's where we are with the town of Marshall.
So it's easy to approve this one.
And I don't know why they don't
Zero.
file under the other act and go straight to the state, but
Have you suggested it?
they like doing it this way.
Okay. Some, you know, some old people just never change. I've been doing this for 70 years this way. Why change?
All right, item 8.
We didn't get a motion on this one. Or yes, you did, never mind. I'm sorry.
I'll take a motion for number 8 today.
I would love to move that we adjourn this 24-hour meeting at long recess.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Passes. We are adjourned.